Good evening, or should, depending on what part of the world you're in right now, maybe I should say good morning to some and good evening to some, depending on where you're at. It is Tuesday morning, October 17th at 12:40 a.m. on the East Coast. Um, this is my YouTube channel. Want you guys to go to Stacy Mallory, my channel, and give a click, a like, a thumbs up, and more importantly, make sure you subscribe so that you can get all our content that we put out there. But I want to start off by, of course, as you could tell, I'm a Charger fan. Been a diehard Charger fan since 1979. Um, I come on every week and I discuss Chargers info. I discuss other teams. I have interviewers that come on. I try to do it every week, and I point out the strengths as well as the weakness of their teams, and we discuss what their situation is. And we were on a two-game winning streak with Minnesota Vikings and the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's easier to come on and discuss um, football, especially Chargers football, when you're coming off of a win. But it's difficult when you're coming off of a loss. And um, I've been interacting a lot with people on Twitch um, this season, and I was expecting a big game tonight. I was going back and forth all week with people on Twitter, Charger fans that were excited tonight for the game. Um, they were hopeful and expecting a blowout victory. Um, they were calling it on Twitter Kellen Moore's revenge game. And he knew everything about what Dallas uh, do on defense and knew how to attack them. And with me being a savvy, veteran, seasoned guy who been around a while and been a Charger fan since 1979, I was telling them, listen, I'm worried about this game. I have a lot of concerns about this game, and I'm not confident at all that we're going to win this game tonight. And of course, Twitter world do what they do. Oh, you're not a real fan. You shouldn't be bashing the coach. You shouldn't be bashing the players, this and that. Okay. But here's the deal. Here's the deal on that. It's like if you were taking medication for something, and every time you take that medication every day, even if you don't have to, what happens? Your body become immune to that medicine or that medication. And when your body become immune to that medication, it doesn't work anymore. And you have to try something else. If you've been taking an antibiotic or Tylenol, depending on whatever ailment you was dealing with, and you just take it to be taking it, your body become immune to it and it doesn't work anymore. Well, being a Charger fan since 1979, I'm used to the ups and downs and the peaks and valleys. I'm used to the frustrations. I'm used to the pitfalls, the traps. I'm used to the anger. I'm just so used to all the disappointment that I am immune to all of it. I am immune to losing it to the point where it doesn't bother me anymore. You know why it doesn't bother me anymore? Because I expect it. When I'm watching a Charger game, I expect to be disappointed. I expect to be frustrated. I expect to reach for the Rolaids. I expect to have Tums nearby. I expect to have upset stomach. I expect to have migraine headaches. I expect not to be able to sleep at night. When you expect it and it happens, it doesn't bother you anymore. But when you don't expect it, that's when it gets to you. And I've been telling Charger fans on Twitter, you have to accept what it is. I've been hard on Brandon Staley since the second season. For all the fourth downs you go for, everybody, oh yeah, he aggressive, analytic. Listen, after tonight, and I'm gonna tell you before I get into that, I actually tried to flip my luck. I went to a sports bar to watch the game tonight, and I'm usually home with my son. But I knew I was uneasy about this game. I knew that it was the Los Angeles Chargers. I knew that I had this funny feeling that whenever everybody in the world and the sports media and the ESPN and the FS1s and the CBS Sports Network, when they all get on the Chargers wagon and say, this is the time where things going to change, they let you down. That's what I was worried about tonight. So to change my luck, I went to a sports bar and will hope that if we won, I could have been here celebrating with my son. But the Chargers do what the Chargers do. You know, this season, Dak Prescott have been looking so bad this preseason. They're ready to throw him out of Dallas. Jerry Jones went and signed Trey Lance from the 49ers and didn't even tell Dak and didn't tell the coach. They were on the hot seat, just like they say Staley's on the hot seat. And he struggled against everybody. Here's a pick for you. Here's a pick for you. Here's a pick for you. Then he come to the Chargers and he looked like Joe Montana and CeeDee Lamb looked like Jerry Rice. But they were saying all week, CeeDee Lamb wasn't a true number one receiver. That's how they get you. You started believing everything you was hearing about what's positive about the Chargers. They're getting ready. Oh man, they get ready to eat these guys up. Kellen Moore he know the weakness on the defense. And hey, look, it wasn't a blowout loss, but the Chargers find all kind of ways to lose a game and to hurt and disappoint their fans. They just do. They just do. If there was a million ways of how you could lose a game, the Chargers will find 1,000,001 because they will find a way in history to do something that's never been done. And it's never for the good. It's never for a win. It's always in a losing situation. I mean, let me say, did you know in 2010, at that time, the San Diego Chargers still hold the record for this? The first team in history, and still is, that offense finished number one in the National Football League. And the defense finished number one in the National Football League. So you have the number one defense for the entire season of 2010 and the number one offense and didn't make the playoffs. How many of you knew that? A lot of you youngers, you didn't know that. But the Chargers are the only team that finished first in offense and first in defense, number one in both categories, and didn't make the playoffs. That's the kind of thing that the Chargers do to you. They know how to break your heart. I'm not going to let them break my heart anymore. I expect to be surprised, or I expect to be, I can't expect to be frustrated if I'm already looking for that to happen until they show me something different. In 1981, a lot of you young ones probably don't know, but they went and played the Miami Dolphins and in Joe Robbie Stadium. And it went into double overtime. That's the game for you guys are too young to know that YouTube that game in 1981, double overtime, where we had Dan Fouts was the quarterback, and you had Charlie Joyner and Wes Chandler and John Jefferson and Kellen Winslow, the senior, the tight end. Air Coryell, Don Coryell, the head coach, now Hall of Famer. And I just knew we were going to win that year, and we went and had to play the Cincinnati Bengals, which in the playoffs, in the AFC, I believe that was the title game to get to the Super Bowl. And with our luck, it happened to be maybe 30 something below zero. Yeah, it happened to be like 31 below zero. That's really cold. Dan Fouts couldn't throw the ball 20 yards because he wasn't used to that. He was used to the sunny California, and it was freezing. But that is one of the first times that I was highly disappointed. Then after that, they made the playoffs several more times. So I'm going to skip over some of the other playoff wins and losses and go to 1994 when they had Junior Seau and Rodney Harrison and Tony Martin and Sean Jefferson was the receivers. And I believe Natron Means was the running back. And, they went out and came from behind in Miami to beat Dan Marino and the Dolphins after being down 21-0. Then they went into Pittsburgh, into Three Rivers Stadium, and the Pittsburgh Steelers had already been celebrating about how they beat the Chargers and got to the Super Bowl with that Greg Lloyd and Levon Kirkland, and they had some nasty linebackers. Kevin Green, I think Neil O'Donnell was the quarterback. Barry Foster was the running back. They had an awesome team. We beat those guys in Three Rivers, but then we got to the Super Bowl and it got blown out by the 49ers. When I say blown out, the game was over 5 minutes into that Super Bowl. I knew we couldn't win. And I mean, we had a good team, a good balanced team. One of my favorite players was Alfred Pupuno, who was the tight end from Hawaii. But we ran into a buzzsaw. They had an all-star cast on offense and on defense. Deion Sanders was on that team as well as Jerry Rice and John Stallworth and Ricky Waters and a whole host of others on the defensive side. They had an all-star cast on both sides of the ball, but we laid an egg. But okay, that was 1994. 2004 was the one that started it for me. We had to play the Jets. We had a really good team. I think the Jets quarterback was Chad Pennington, who couldn't throw the ball 30 yards without feeling something in his shoulder or his elbow. And we went there and we laid an egg there because and Phillip Rivers was, well, that year it was Drew Brees. Phillip started in 2006. But it was Drew Brees, and we had LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates. And we lost a heartbreaker to the Jets when we were heavily favored. Then jumped 2 more years to 2006. when we had to me, in my opinion, the best team in the National Football League, from Sean Phillips, Sean Merriman, of course, LaDainian and Antonio in their prime. You had Phillip Rivers, who was starting that year in 2006. We went 14-2. And then that's the season where um, Marlon McCree, I'll never forget him, who was the safety who picked off Tom Brady, and we could have went down and won that game. But when he picked it off, instead of taking the knee and going down, he tried to advance it. And when he tried to advance it, it got Troy Brown ran behind him, who he picked it off in front of and popped it out, and they got the ball, and the rest was history. That was a heartbreaker. Um, then our bad luck continued the following season, 2007. We still had the best team in football, but unfortunately, Rivers tore his ACL and his MCL and still played. And we almost won, almost pulled it off. Just a lot of heartbreaking losses, man. A lot of heartbreaking losses. And the Chargers know all kind of ways to put you in pain and suffering and frustration. And that brings me to this year's Chargers. Now, let me get to this year's Chargers. I mean, I've been hard on Brandon Staley, as I should. But the problems is not just with Brandon Staley. For the last 4 years, 4 to 5 years, the media world and everybody else been saying we are loaded with talent. This Chargers team is loaded. This is what they say all the time. This team is loaded. Nobody wants to face this team when the playoffs come. You have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. I respect the hell out of Khalil Mack. He's hasn't missed a game since he's been with us a year and a half. He had 7 sacks. He had 1 sack tonight. Bosa had been a major disappointment. Bosa, all he do is just get hurt and create penalties, jumping off sides. And, he had a year and a half where he was really good, where he was like dominant. But ever since then, Joey Bosa has not been what his brother is to the 49ers. Joey Bosa has not been what Myles Garrett has been to the Cleveland Browns. Joey Bosa has not been what Micah Parsons has been for the Dallas Cowboys. So then you have Derwin James. Derwin James, supposedly everybody say he's the best safety in football. For a couple of years, I believed that. But I remember watching Troy Polamalu playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers for years. I remember watching Ed Reed for the Baltimore Ravens. I remember watching Rod Woodson for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm saying these guys made game-changing plays, and they were game wreckers. When is Derwin doing that for us? It seemed like all Derwin has been known for the last couple of years was hitting people head to helmet, putting us in bad field position like he did tonight. We got J.C. Jackson, Mr. INT from the New England Patriots. And I know I'm ranting a little bit right now, and I know I'm taking a little bit of time. But look, all the great things I say about the Chargers, I have to be the fair and partial person that I am. I am an independent journalist. I believe in being fair and telling the truth and calling people out when they should be called out. For a defense that have Derwin James and Khalil Mack and Ed Hendricks that came from Minnesota, and Derwin James, how could this team be one of the worst defenses in the National Football The coach is horrible. I never liked Brandon Staley. I wanted to so bad because in order for the Chargers to be good and make playoff runs and possibly get to a Super Bowl, Staley got to be a really good coach. So if I'm going to be rooting for my team, the Chargers, to make a long run and possibly a Super Bowl run, I got to be rooting for Brandon Staley. I got to be rooting for Tom Telesco. And I got to be rooting for these players. But I spend my money every year. I go to California and I live in Jersey. I spend a couple of $1,000s going to SoFi, and it is so fine. SoFi is. I've been to that high school stadium that they were playing in until SoFi was ready for 3 years. I've been to Qualcomm. I've been to Jack Murphy Stadium. I've been to all the stadiums that the Chargers have played at. I spend money every year. Of course, if you live in Jersey, you got to fly out to the West Coast and go to a Charger game and spend a lot of money for really good tickets and be able to eat 3 times a day and hang out, enjoy nightlife for a little bit and have a hotel room and rent a car. That's running you a couple of $1,000s. And I do that because I love my team. But I can't love them that much to know that right now they suck. They are overachieving. I'm sorry, I apologize. They're underachieving. Nobody is doing shit but collecting big time checks. And this is Justin Herbert too. Justin Herbert has top 5 talent at the quarterback position. And I know that and believe that. We hear what everybody say. He can make every throw. He can wow you with a lot of throws. But Justin Herbert played horrible tonight. He missed Keenan Allen and Josh Palmer several times. He made some poor decisions tonight. And it wasn't just tonight. I'm just calling it out tonight. But as a team overall, the Los Angeles Chargers have been playing horrible. They are 2-3 right now. Let me tell you. Oh, Mr. Old Smarty Pants, the young man with the baseball cap, Brandon Staley, probably is a great man. I don't know him personally, but probably a great man. But it's fair to talk about, his what he does in his decision making on the field as head coach for the Los Angeles Chargers. It's fair to do that. This team is 2-3. We were on on our own 28-yard line. It was 4th and 1, and we went for it. That's they call it the tush push. I guess they don't practice that well because there was no tush and pushing. All right. And they didn't get it. Now they have Jordan Anderson on one side. They had Justin Jefferson on the other. Kirk Cousins could have easily made a 28-yard pass and broke our hearts. Thank God for Kenneth Murray, who made a game-saving interception, and that sealed the game for us. That could have easily been a loss. Easy. The next week, we playing the Las Vegas Raiders. Chargers doing their thing like they do, jump out to a big lead, and all of a sudden, here it comes. Here they come. They come walk you down. Here it come. The third quarter, they get conservative. 1, 2, 3 and out. 1, 2, 3 and out. 1, 2, 3 and out. But then there it goes. It's starting to come. The Chargers are starting to charger. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Next thing you know, you're in a dogfight trying to pull it out in the end. Never fails. This team don't know how to close. But we on the 38-yard line, 4th and 2. Staley said, go for it. We got this. We got a gangster for a quarterback. Didn't get it. Didn't get it. The Raiders threw a pass down to Devontae Adams and caught it down on the 5-yard line. I'm like, we get ready to lose to the freaking Raiders. after being up by three scores. We can't close for nothing in the world. And then on a rollout, they threw it in the end zone to try to put the game away, and Asante Samuel, game saving pick, and saved the game for us. That's 2 weeks in a row that Brandon Staley was bailed out. We could have easily been 0-5 right now. Did you hear what I said? We could have easily be 0-5. And Charger fans, man, I love to interact with you guys. I really, really do. But I have to be fair about this. We're not as good as you think we are. Our coach is way in over his head trying to be head coach. We got players that are overrated that are making millions of dollars, top five in their position with what they're getting paid. And they're not producing on the football field. Joey Bosa not producing. I haven't heard them call Hendrick's name since he's been with us this year. No, not at all. Derwin James, all he's known for right now is throwing an elbow to somebody's head. When he first came to the league, he was covering tight ends. I mean, he was doing his thing. I'm like, we got a generational player. What the freak happened? We just got a bunch of guys with big names that had success in this league and was playing on a Pro Bowl level, and all of a sudden, they forgot how to tackle. I mean, come on. The names that I just told you, we're fucking last in defense. I'm speaking facts, Charger fans on Twitter. I'm speaking facts. I'm not making this stuff up. This is not fake news. The Los Angeles Chargers are pretenders, trying to be contenders, but they're not. They talk about a culture. I see D'Amico Ryan with the Houston Texans. I see him building a culture. They're learning how to win. They're playing good, fundamental, sound football. Their quarterback look like he's going to be really, really special in this league. Why we can't look like that? Why everything got to be a struggle? Why everything got to be a heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching loss all the time? I feel for those Charger fans on Twitter because that's where I used to be years ago. They not there. They ain't had enough hurt to be numb to it yet. Some of them on there, like, oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you guys never played football before. Oh, you don't know he's a good coach. Oh, all I seen was Duran running around making plays. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Quarterbacks are measured by wins and losses only. I know that it don't say in the stat sheet that maybe an offensive lineman got beat or somebody ran through unblocked or the receiver ran the wrong route or the receiver or tight end dropped the ball when the quarterback threw it, or like in San Fran's case yesterday where Purdy drove them down in the field goal range and the kicker missed a 41-yard field goal. The only thing it says in there that you won or you lost. And that's what you judged by. And that's what the narrative always is. And that's how you get paid, by wins and losses. Justin Herbert, you had the ball with 2 minutes left against the Miami Dolphins. We lost. Justin Herbert, you had the ball. We had the ball last on the final possession against the Tennessee Titans. We lost. Justin Herbert, you had the ball with 2 minutes and so a little bit of change left against the Dallas Cowboys. It don't matter what happened, we lost, and that's going to be on your resume, and that's going to be the narrative with you. We not playing good enough. It's just not good enough. Let me look at this stat I was looking at before I jump off of here, because it's just not good enough. Tonight's game, Justin Herbert was 22 or 37 for 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick with the game on the line. Dak Prescott was 21 or 30 for 272 yards and 1 touchdown. No picks. Dak Prescott looked like hot shit before he played the Chargers tonight. Dak Prescott, he looked like hot shit. He looked like a really good quarterback tonight that ran the offense with efficiency, played mistake-free, threw some nice passes with nice touches on them. CeeDee Lamb, been a major disappointment. Most people and some of his peers were talking about the Cowboys need more weapons because CeeDee Lamb is just not getting it done. CeeDee Lamb looked like a number one tonight. You know why? Because he played the Los Angeles Chargers. If you're struggling to run the ball, play the Los Angeles Chargers. You'll get your mojo back. You'll fucking average 4.5, 5.7 yards per carry. If you're a receiver who haven't had a 100-yard game yet, can't seem to get it going, play the Los Angeles Chargers. They'll make you look like Jerry Rice and Randy Moss and T.O. That's just the truth. And I know you guys are hot at me for it, but it's the truth. You ain't no more diehard than I am. Stop telling me that. You're not a diehard fan. What the freak you think I'm spending money for? You see all this in the background. You see me spending money. I rent my team harder than anybody else. And guess what? When they playing like shit, I'm going to say they playing like shit. And I don't feel good saying that, Justin Herbert, you're playing like shit. When you were playing good, I would tell you you're playing good. Not that you care about my opinion anyway, but as fans, our eyes not lying to us. Stop being in denial. Lord have mercy. If I say on Twitter, Justin Herbert suck, it's a gentleman I was talking to tonight, and I told him Justin Herbert playing horrible tonight, and he was very respectful. His response was, "I agree with you, but you had a lot of balls to say that. I would have never tweeted that out." Why? I respect you and your opinion. I respect everybody's opinion. You can say whatever you want to say, but just don't tell people you ain't supposed to feel like this, because it's an opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but we can be respectful and still love our team, and interact with each other and be okay with it. But he played like shit. Brandon Staley he do not have the pulse of this team. He don't. And we're just not that good. It's time for people in charge of land to accept the fact we got to break this shit up. We got to cut all these guys that's making all this freaking money, all this that's counting towards the cap, the Bosa's, the Derwin James. We need some draft. We need to get some young talent. You look at the Houston Texans and what they're doing over there, and you say, wow, this guy coming around. That's what, when people keep talking about a culture. I saw it tonight before the game started. The Chargers were standing in the huddle, and the Cowboys, it looked like to me, was intentional, came through and broke through their huddle without going around. All the room in SoFi, they could have went around, and they didn't. And they start bumping into players. They turn around, hey, what's going on? And Dante Flowers, or Dante Fowler is his name. He sucker punched Austin Eckler from behind. It was a hard shot, too. Knocked his helmet off, and he stumbled a little bit. Austin Eckler is a premier running back in the National Football League. Austin Eckler is what Saquon Barkley is to the Giants. He's what Jonathan Taylor is to the Colts. He's what Derrick Henry is to Tennessee. And you let them do that to your guy. Somebody should have been disqualified from playing tonight because Dante Fowler should have paid for what he did. That's like you just sucker punch LaDainian Thomas. I know what they were doing. They were trying to intimidate them and bully them and set the tone for how the game was going to go tonight. That's what that was about. So you want to talk about a culture? We needed to do that tonight. Somebody on that team needed to have been disqualified from being able to play because they should have jumped right on Dante Fowler's ass for what he did. He did that to Austin Eckler. Could have hurt the man. But hey, take one for the team. Go back at this dude. Send somebody at this dude. But we're not this aggressive team that everybody want to try to build us up to be. And then look what happened. Watch ESPN tomorrow. Watch Get Up tomorrow morning. Watch Undisputed tomorrow morning. Watch First Take tomorrow. Watch Speak. Watch First Things First. They're going to eat the Chargers alive. Because every time they give them a chance and thinking this could be it, they Charger. The Chargers Charger. Here it comes. Here it comes. It happens every single game. So listen, I want to come on here and vent a little bit and talk little Chargers football because I talk when they're winning and I want to come on here and I praise them when they win, when they do good things. I come on here and I say it and everybody love me that's a Charger fan for saying it. But they hate when I say the truth. When they play like garbage, they hate when I tell the truth about it. But on this podcast, I'm always going to tell the truth when it comes to these Chargers. And I'm telling you now, they're not contenders. They're nowhere fucking near contenders. They're not. They're not down in the dump with like a lot of other teams, but listen. Prime time, what are you going to do against Kansas City? What you going to do against Buffalo? And the Ravens have their issues with injuries and all that kind of stuff. And Lamar still trying to figure things out with reference to being a consistent quarterback and throwing from the pocket, his accuracy and the whole nine. But what are we going to do with them? We can't make enough plays to beat our grandparents. The Chargers are a bad team right now. They're a bad team. They're a bad organization. And if you out there in out there in the world that's a Charger fan and you don't want to acknowledge that, and you're a bad fan, if you want to tell me, oh, you're not you're not a diehard. Don't be delusional. Help me help you. Don't be delusional. If it's there, it's okay to say it's there. If they're bad, it's okay to say you're bad and still love your team. You do know that. But they're a bad team. They're horrible. They're hard to watch. They are. Those same people that'll be on Twitter that'll say you're not a diehard. Those the same ones when things start falling apart, when they start charging in the fourth quarter. Oh, we gotta fire everybody. But then tell me you're not a diehard. It's okay. I know that's frustration. It's okay. But this is a bad Chargers organization. It's a bad owner. It's a bad head coach. It's a bad GM. And these some bad players. The only thing I respect for them, they did go out and did everything they can to try to put a winning product on the field that could challenge for a Super Bowl. When you mention Khalil Mack and Ed Hendricks and Derwin James, Asante Samuel, the J.C. Jackson, even though it didn't work, when you mention these kind of names, and you got the Keenan Allens and the Mike Williams, and they tried, but at some point, I don't give a damn about the GM, and even with the coach. At some point, the players got to play. The players got to make a stop. The players got to tackle. Tonight, Mike Davis looked, oh my God, you're atrocious. You should not be on this team. You should be working somewhere in corporate America. You should not be on the football field. You're giving up 15 yards before they hike the ball, a 15-yard gap. I mean, CeeDee Lamb was making you look. You should just be embarrassed. You should take some of that money and give some of that money back, because you guys are stealing from the Chargers. You are. A lot of you players are just stealing money, putting a ski mask on, and you took the money and you ain't doing shit. You're not doing anything to prove that you deserve to get paid that way. And you frustrate the fans. You want to know why fans don't want to come to the games and watch? They're tired of that. They're tired of going through this hell with you guys all the time. I mean, my goodness gracious. They're a bad team. They just are. And I admit it. Playoffs? Playoffs? You are who we thought you were. And you're damn sure not a playoff team. So a tough loss tonight. The Chargers record falls to 2-3. And they got to face the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe, on Sunday. And I believe it's an Arrowhead. And good luck to you. Because I have zero confidence in the coach, in the GM, and the players. I'm going to watch the football games. I'm going to continue to watch Charger games because I love my team. I can't pull away. I can't separate from the team. I'm stuck with them in a marriage, and that's just the way it is. But it's horrible, and it's hard to watch. And I know I speak for a lot of Charger fans that are out there as well. It's hard for you to watch too. But you don't want to admit it yet because you ain't been hurt enough yet. When you get tired of getting hurt, you'll start admitting it. A couple of my friends, not even friends, like family members, called me up today and told me, I'm taking the Chargers today. What do you think? And I told them the same thing. I had concerns. I had a lot of concerns about the game. And I felt that if the game was close, I didn't trust Brandon Staley decision making and we would lose. So I felt that the only chance we had is to go up by a couple of touchdowns. And that's it. Shit, Arizona Cardinals figured that out. 49ers did. We're the only ones that didn't. And that's tough. That's tough as a Chargers fan, a guy that loves his team, a guy that buys all kind of paraphernalia, that buys every jersey, still buying to today. I got all kind of Charger shit, Charger sneakers. I got a Chargers outfit for every day, every Sunday for the 17-week season. I'm a junkie. I can't help it. That's how we love our sports. So with me having the love for them like that, um, it's tough to watch this because going into last year and going to this year, I thought Brandon Staley would be a better coach, and I thought we had a Super Bowl caliber team. And I look at the Jets, look at their defense. They don't have the names we got on that defensive side. We got names that stand out. Everybody well aware of who the Khalil and Joey Bosa's and Derwin James. They don't have the big names other than the cornerback over there, Sauce. But they balling. if they quarterback could get him a little something to Aaron come back, or they make a trade for Kirk Cousins from the rumors you hear, the Jets gonna be a problem. The Jets gonna be a problem. And I envy the Kansas City Chiefs for all the success they have. I envy um, the Houston Texans. Look like they're building a culture over there. I envy Dan Campbell, that the culture that he's building with Detroit Lions right now. Detroit Lions, one of the best teams in the National Football League right now. That team know who they are. They have their identity. They have a culture. And they know what it takes to win. In a lot of other different ways, they can win a game. And we just not there. So I have to come back on here and talk again about the Kansas City Chiefs during the week. I'm going to try to have my man Bob, who's a diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan, the biggest Kansas City Chiefs fan that I know, that spend just as much money on cheap paraphernalia as I do with Charger stuff. So I'm going to try to have him on and talk, but it's right now it's tough to do this Chargers podcast right now. But if you can accept the truth and y'all love the content, please go to Stacey Mallory's YouTube page, like it, give a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button so you can get all the content that we get, that we put out throughout the week. And also, if you just want to support what I'm doing here. And I appreciate you guys. Once again, the Chargers go down to Dallas Cowboys in SoFi in another very, very, very disappointing performance. One that we had an opportunity to win the game on the final drive, and again, it didn't happen. There's high drama going on in SoFi in Los Angeles, California, because some heads got to roll. Some things got to change, and they got to change like right now. And anybody that dispute that don't have idea what the hell they talking about. But some change need to happen with the expectations was at going into the season and into the last season, and we still here where we at right now. And you guys want to talk about we got a good team and they flying around making plays and I love Brandon Staley because he's aggressive. No, he don't know how to coach. We don't have an Andy Reid. We don't have a Mike Tomlin who had a losing season in 17 years. We don't have a Dan Campbell. Nothing else I can say about it. But I want to come on here tonight. I said I'm going to wait till tomorrow morning and get my thoughts together and the whole nine. But then I wanted to come on here as soon as I came from the sports bar, because while everything was fresh in my head, I want to just go on. I know you guys you Charger fans out here, you're hurting, you're disappointed, you're frustrated, you're angry as hell. Some of you probably didn't punch a hole in your TV, because I see these posts going up where people are breaking their TVs. It's not that serious. But I want to come on here and do it now while I was fresh, so I didn't have to wait till tomorrow, because I probably would have changed my mind on my approach, how I was going to deliver my message tonight. But once again, Chargers go down. Cowboys 20, Chargers 17. Another disappointing loss. Look for some things to start moving and shaking right now. That's what I expect anyway. Thank you guys. You guys have a good morning. I'm going to drink up my water. I'm going to go and lay down in bed and get me a little bit of sleep. And I hope you guys have a good night, and see you back on here Friday.